Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Horny Football Podcast. Here's a quick look at what's coming up this week on episode 9. We're going to be taking a look back at all the Premier League Match Week 10 action, including all the drama from the Manchester Derby. We'll be at Selhurst Park where Tottenham continue their impressive start to the Premier League. We'll also be looking at Arsenal's dominant display at home to Sheffield United, as well as all the Premier League Match Week 10 action, so strap yourselves in. It's going to be a good one. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Horny Football Podcast. Joining me tonight we have Usheen, we have Johnny and we have Rob. Gentlemen, starting out Old Trafford, Manchester Derby, Manchester City running out 3-0 winners. Usheen, I'll start with you for this one. City were off the back of three domestic defeats. United maybe not in the best of form, but they won this reverse fixture last season. You would have thought that form went out the window for this, but United were just so poor. They made City look unbelievable.
I don't think they made City look unbelievable. I think City made themselves look unbelievable. Their style of play, their passing, their progression of the ball, their defending, their teamwork, everything about them was flawless. It really was. As a United supporter watching the game, I had to say, they were mesmerising at times. Bernardo Silva, I mean, look, there's no doubt he's a world-class player, but he just ran the game in midfield. Foden had a great game. Grealish did quite well considering he hasn't started many games in the league this season. And Haaland, we were only saying that too long ago. He hasn't really shown the same style of form that he had last year, but he just loves playing against United, doesn't he? What's that now? It's 6 goals in 3 games. I
think he's 11 goals this season, same amount of goals as Man United, yeah.
Yeah, and but against United, he's it's ridiculous what he has. But United were just there was no identity to their play at all. You don't I suppose when you seen the team sheet, you saw Lindelof starting at left back, you see Johnny Evans at centre back, you see Scott McTominay and Eriksen starting in the middle. Amrabat, look, I was raving about him. I like him a lot, but he's not showing anything that we all expected him since he was signed. Erik ten Hag came out and said that Varane wasn't starting for tactical reasons. I'd love to know what those tactical reasons were, because it was madness. We started Reguilon midweek. He played half a game in the against Copenhagen, and he wasn't even starting today. He played Lindelof left back. That was never going to work. When he came on at halftime for Amrabat, moved McTominay down the centre. I don't know what Mount's role was. He was on the right hand side predominantly for it, but he was like a headless chicken. He didn't know what was going on.
To get involved. If it's people get involved,
you didn't hear his name mentioned for ages. And no, he actually not. I tell a lie. He was actually in the centre, and then near the end of the game, he was moved out to the right a bit. Or the second half, he was moved out to the right a bit, and then Bruno was brought into the middle. But look, Eriksen isn't a player that can start anymore. He's been shown he's been great coming off the bench the last 2 games prior to this game. He's shown none of that class and skill against City. Scott McTominay was he was non-existent in that midfield. Between Højlund and Onana, if it wasn't for Onana, we would have been lost 6 or 7-0. He made 2 or 3 outrageous saves, really good. And Højlund, he worked his socks off. That's why he came off. It was no United fan at the stadium like that decision. But I said it last week, said the week before, I'll say it again. You can't have a player like that signed for 70 million, a young player like that who thrives on balls being delivered into him, and not have the ball going into him. Rashford, there's no deliveries into the box. Same on the right hand side, he just wasn't getting the service. So how is this young man meant to get the goals that we're all expecting of him when he's not getting the balls delivered in? It's just Erik ten Hag got it wrong. There's whatever we can say about the board and everything, he got the tactics wrong, his substitutions wrong. Everything that City did well, United did the polar opposite. It was the chances of United coming out with a result after the first half were astronomical, and City's class just came out on top.
All right, Johnny, moving on to you. She touched on Ten Hag's tactics there, but he came out after the game and he said the execution of the game plan was very good. What game plan?
When you see it for the first 10, 15 minutes or so, the game plan was already catching midfield in transition. We had 2 chances early on. We made better decisions.
McTominay had a good chance. He didn't pass it off. Could have passed it off to Amrabat. I think it was in the very first minute.
Amrabat, Rashford, or is it Højlund then as well? So we had 2 chances early on. You make a better decision. That game maybe for too long isn't different. I think City were going to always win that game. When we've seen the lineup, so they were always going to win that game, especially when we've seen it. It's tough. I could say definitely tactics, but you look at it, well, what do you do with that team when you put them out there? Like,
yeah, like it's such a big.
I understand, like, if the manager has to take a certain amount, but what is he doing? Like, what tactics can you do with that team at the moment? Like, that's his job, of course, but when he has to go and start a midfield trio, like, an Amrabat was signed as number 2, like, as much as I was taught, maybe going beside Casemiro, was signed as number 2. So you have 3, not even 3 second choice midfielders. Scott McTominay is not second choice. He's had a good run of games, but only because of the bad form we're in. Eriksen is probably third or fourth choice along with Amrabat. So there's your 3 second and third choice midfielders. Varane's made of Weederbecks. We seen him. He's here for 45 and he's gone again.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of stuck with, like, he's a Rolls Royce player, but you can't get him on the field. So he's probably thinking, well, I better maybe start the game with Varane, but then is it harder for Evans and Maguire to come in early on in this game, or are they better off starting, trying to build something? I have no idea. And obviously he's paid the big money to be the manager and set tactics forward, but I'm not sure. Like, when we see the team sheets, and it's an awful thing to say where we are at the moment. Even on this podcast last week, we thought, Jesus, with hopes. We all said, all right, United win with hope, but none of us really thought we were going to win that game.
Yeah.
And that's just where we are at the moment. Unfortunately, we've had such a poor start to the season. Even the games we won, we've been poor. Everyone seems to be lacking confidence. The manager now is trying things as well. He looks to be lacking confidence also. He's trying the same with Mount. It's like, take off Amrabat, stick McTominay in defensive mid, and let Mount try and pull something out of his arse when he's
just can't seem to do it.
Yeah, it's just where we are at the moment. However, we did start well. I don't think we can go up beyond. Like, I've no issue saying City are always going to win that game, but that penalty decision does change that game.
Oh yeah.
I was just moving on to that, Rob. I was going to go to you for this the penalty decision. We've seen this instance happen game after game so many times. It's rarely given nowadays. A player tugging back an opposition player and then going to the ground, obviously making a meal out of it. It often goes so unpunished. I would say probably 90% of the time it's unpunished. Like, this was a very, very harsh one to give, especially in a derby game. Like, you don't see these given in derby games, 100%.
No, it's a bit annoying. But of course, it was the City. Like, it wouldn't just be any other derby. It had to be for City. Like, they always get the rubber green with decisions. The worst part of it, if you look at the freeze frame of it, Højlund does have his hand on him, like, at his ribs, and Rodri's screaming, like, his face is as if he's after being shot, like, in the freeze frame. So he's literally screaming before he goes down, anyways, because Højlund's hands on him. It's a pity that happened to Højlund as well. It'd be such a confidence fucking killer, like, for him to give away the penalty in his first Manchester derby, like that. And considering he probably should have scored after that when he was run 1-on-1, it just took a touch extra. It's just a pity. Like, kind of everyone going on about Haaland, how much he scored, only for a penalty, a free header.
Well, in fairness, like, to Haaland, he was pretty poor. Like, you can say United were at fault for the second and third goal because they left Haaland alone at the back post for the second goal. Yeah. The third goal, actually, I only see it today when I was watching the highlights again. When the ball ricocheted from Onana, like, Johnny Evans took him about 4 years to actually realise that Haaland was right there.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
It was shocking. Like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't notice it first time around, but when I was watching today, I was like, Jesus, like, it took him so long.
Evans is still playing for Leicester and that, man. It took him that long.
Yeah. Like, it was just kind of, like, United, like, I think 3-0 maybe, obviously, City deserved to win the game, but I don't think 3-0 flattered
lucky
them.
With that,
no.
I think.
Well, I think both boys, they were lucky. Yeah, I think flattered as well. But we had chances. McTominay just before the first half ended on that volley. He got too much.
Yeah, Ederson had made a fantastic save.
Straight after.
Rashford had an opportunity. Probably could have scored. Probably maybe last year he would have scored it.
Even Hoyland's sprint through where the defender got a touch on it and it went into the keeper. That's another chance straight away. When let's bring it right. So straight away, I know that's only 3 chances, but they were at really good times in the game as well.
Just lastly on the Man United game now, I want to talk about Bruno Fernandes. No secret, I do not like the man. I think he's a hateful bastard. He's not captain material. Roy Keane came out after the game and said he's not captain material. He didn't say it like that, but that is essentially what he said. And I 100% agree. He's not the player you turn to when your team is doing poorly and you need something. You need a boost from somewhere. You know, he's crying all the time. You know, he's angry. He's swiping at players. Stuff like that. Just stuff you don't need for a captain. But like, who else have you got? Casemiro, maybe.
I was just going to say that. Who else have you got?
I think Casemiro?
Where's Casemiro? He's this season he's been shocking. He's been non-existent almost.
And he's just in the door too. He's just in the door. We did that with Maguire.
Yeah.
I know Casemiro and Maguire are not the same, and I'm not trying to say they are. But you can't just give the man the armband when he walks in the door.
I mean, I gave it to Odegaard. Odegaard only did a loan spell.
Arteta's a spastic though.
No, Arsenal almost won the league last year. We're doing well this year. So.
Almost with milk a cow, you could.
Listen. On Fernandes, there's no denying when it comes to these big games when the cloche is down, he epitomizes anything you don't need in a captain. We can all agree on that. Look, he's a fantastic player. Anyone says he's not a good player is mad. You can have your opinions on him as a person, but as a football player, when he gets going, he's a fantastic player. Yeah, there is moments you do see the odd time where he's very vocal. He can be directional when things are going well. But it is when things like this are going down, that is not the captain you need. There's no denying that. You cannot deny that. But the alternative is exactly as Johnny said, like, who do you get? We don't have anyone. You're not going to give it back to Maguire, you just take it off. And what message does that send? You know what I mean? Yeah. Who else are you going to... Like, literally, maybe Ericsson on the basis that he captains the national team, but he can't do that. Rashford is... You're not giving it to Rashford because he does, like... No, like you can't give it to Rashford. I'm sorry, but he's not showing captain material himself. If he was on form, or if he's showing a glimpse of the form he had last year,
I agree with that 100%.
That's a different conversation to have. So it's
who
is like Varane. Look, I'm still baffled what the tactical reason he wasn't starting. But maybe if he was starting on a regular, if his legs weren't made of Weetabix, that's probably our best shout. Martinez if he wasn't injured, but at this moment in time, like. Bruno's the best they've got, and that's it.
Best of a bad bunch, I suppose.
You're thinking the other player in terms of seniority at the club, like for how long they've been there, Delo then.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only one in that current starting 11 you're thinking might, like, you know, but you can't do that. Like, but yeah, going back to, like, I don't know what really people respect and, like, look at it. It's City after coming off a treble win. I know they're not playing their best football at the moment, but still City coming off a treble win. Team as strong as ever versus us that are crippled with injuries, with players we bought in as second and third choice. Anyways, it's a tough time to be a United fan, it is, but like we've been here for so long, we're just kind of used to it.
You talk about injuries, but just quickly now we'll finish it up here. But you know, like the confidence United had last season, like in the run for last season, like just compared to like the way they started this year, it's kind of just. It's just so opposite in terms of like how they're playing and like how Ten Hag set them up last year compared to this year. And like, you say about injuries, but like it's not as if the players they have aren't good. It's not like, you know, they have players that play international football. They're starting international footballers. You know, maybe like Evans, I don't know about, but you know, like Maguire still plays for England regularly. You know, you have players like Anthony who cost 100 million, who was, I don't know, I think he's an absolute waste of money right now. But like just the players you have, you should be doing better. Like you see McTominay for Scotland is doing very well. You know, Casemiro started for Brazil. You know, these players are good players. Just the confidence is gone. It's just
there is a
come out from under them. 100%, I agree. And for second choice and third choice, like they are better. They should be. They are good players. But a lot of these players have shown, especially last season, they showed being good second or third string players. They didn't show that they were the best to be starting games. So that kind of way. Even like some. Maguire's had a great run of form this season. He's shown once he's taken out of the team, he can put back in for a couple of games. He can definitely fulfill a role and fulfill a job. Same with McTominay. Same with probably Ericsson. These are guys that you can't rely on week in, week out. When they showed over a couple of years, it's not to dig them out. It's not saying it to put any blame over the derby. You can't really. The one last thing I'll say, and I know it is to be quick, I very rarely agree with Gary Neville these days. He spends too much time trying to get other fans to like him, which will never happen. But he said something very true the other day. Is like great players and great managers have come to this club and died over the last 10 years. It gets to a stage where you cannot blame like the manager and the players. How do you blame them now? There's something a lot wrong. And I look at and people say, why is it always the Glazers? But people don't realise, United fan, when we win, the Glazers still have to go. When we win trophies, there were people giving out what's the word? Having things against the Glazers. We won the Champions League in 2008. Do you know what I mean? So
it's the infrastructure. Go on, Johnny.
Go ahead, Oshie, sorry.
No, Johnny's right. It's the infrastructure of the club. We are a club, we're the only club in the Premier League that doesn't have a sporting director. We don't have a competent CEO. Richard Arnold has, for what happened with Mason Mount, was a joke. Let's all be fair about that. There's already talks that Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in and gets Jean-Claude Blanc, the guy that essentially resurrected Juventus. They're the sort of people you need to be getting into your club. Yeah. Not that do their jobs, the business side of things. Then getting your man, I knew it like 10 seconds ago, I knew his name. Paul Mitchell, that's a football guy. So you have, if they got him in as the sporting director, that's your football side. Jean-Claude Blanc as the kind of CEO, he'll do the financial side of things. That's the start. But it all stems down from the top. Even if you got those two in, who's to say that they won't have the power? Like the Glazers, look, there's no denying that United have spent money. But again, they've spent money poorly. They spent that money, say for Anthony, for example, he would have cost 40 million at the start of summer. And Eric Ten Hag said, you need to go get him. Nothing was done. Lost the first two games. Then it was all shit panic station. Ajax were like, no, not giving him unless we get 70. So that's 30 million essentially thrown down the drain. That's 30 million that they could have used for the stadium or the training facilities. The training facilities are so far behind that what was the player that came out not too long ago and moved to, was it Sunderland? I can't remember. The youth team player moved, he's in Championship now, said that Sunderland's training facilities were actually more up to date than United. That is criminal, if that is true. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying it is true, but if that is true, that is fucking criminal. The gymnasium has only been refurbished for the first time last season, the first time in 22 years. That was after Ronaldo gave out about it. Okay. The female club are only just after getting their own clubhouse to start of this season. And even though we've had the longest running female clubs, so to speak, in England, ours was the only one that didn't have their own clubhouse. So infrastructurally, there's something seriously wrong here. As Johnny said, I don't agree with Gary Neville. I think he's a pure withdrawal. I think he craves on having attention and wants people to like him. But he is starting to sound with a bit of sense. It is like, for all the bitching he says about the Glazers, it does make sense. Players and managers are coming to a club. Do you know who I feel bad for? And I took a video and I'll send it into the group chat. Is Ralph Ragnick.
He was
for all his shite that he said at the end of the season, he was dead fucking right. He was saying in interviews, and
I said about it too, didn't he?
Yeah, but the way Ragnick did, but Ragnick did it with such confidence, because he knew what he was speaking. He was the guy that did RB Leipzig and a few other clubs as well. So he knows what he's talking about. And that's it. He said, this is a total dissection of the heart, of the quotes he used. And he even said in the clip that I saw, it starts from the top and it works its way down the bottom. So, you have to feel like, Ralph Ragnick did failed as terms of the manager, but for everything else that he was saying, it absolutely seems to be 100% true. Yeah. So,
for one point to tie it all together, we have one goal. Our attackers have one goal in the league this season. Who the fuck in that club turned around and said, no, it's not worth the trouble to go get Harry Kane? Who was it?
Yeah,
it wasn't worth the trouble to get tied in with Spurs. It wasn't worth the trouble to try and deal with Levy. I want to know who made that decision and why. Yeah. Look at us. Our attackers have one goal, and it's not to blame. I don't want to blame Hoyland or anything. But is that not as an indictment of the club and how it's been run for 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Or longer.
All right, lads, we're going to leave it there because we'll be here all day talking about Man United. All right, moving on to Selhurst Park. Palace 1, Tottenham 2. Tottenham continuing their impressive league start. I've been giving Spurs a lot of shit saying they're not really playing fantastic, but they're getting results, blah, blah, blah. I do appreciate that they're digging in. Like, Selhurst Park is a tough place to go, don't get me wrong. Even if Palace aren't in the most exciting grain of form, they've only scored one in the last, that game the other day, so 2 in their last 6. But in fairness, Palace put it up to Spurs for large periods of the game. Like, we've seen the last 15 minutes of the first half, Palace were just knocking on the door. And Spurs held firm. Rob, we'll go with you for this one. They keep plugging away, they keep getting results.
Yeah, as I said, Selhurst Park is not an easy place to go, especially in a standout fixture, whether it's a Friday night or Saturday morning, Saturday 5:30, or Monday night. It always seems to be a tricky affair when all the spotlight is on you. It's as if it's a 3:00 game when the views are nearly shared evenly, like everyone's kind of watching. So fair play to Spurs with that. Unlucky to concede at the end and not get the clean sheet. But yeah, they're just grinding out results. Like they're almost getting a little bit luckier every time, like in terms of how it's going.
Yeah.
It's not as clean as it was, but that was always going to happen.
Sometimes you have to just ride that luck and
still, it's got to
see how games unfold.
3 points is 3 points, especially when they haven't actually played badly.
Yeah, I so lucky to get out of there with 3 points. So, Johnny, I want to touch on maybe someone that's going a bit under the radar. I think he's having a fantastic season. Vicario, Spurs goalkeeper, he's making some phenomenal saves. He's been playing very, very well.
What a decision to get him in and have Lloris go. Fantastic.
Yeah, just fuck him off. Yeah.
Not even that, but the Spurs fans were raging when they were going for David Raya as well.
Yeah.
And now look like
so. Yeah, fantastic scouting and he's fantastic. Yeah, he's been brilliant.
Yeah,
he's only a young keeper too, so he's been and first time playing Premier League.
Yeah,
he just gives them that nice solid base. Every team needs that nice solid base behind you for a goalkeeper to know that right. Even if we do let a shot in, this man is solid here. He gets out of a bit of trouble, which every team needs. He's had a fantastic start. Really good.
We've talked about like Spurs back four, but like just the whole back five now, like the whole defensive, it's just fantastic. They're doing incredibly well. Like fair play to them.
In comparison to last season, we kind of have to always kind of go back with Spurs. But in comparison to last season, like when Lloris was liable to do anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Spurs, absolutely. He especially was like.
Just a point on that defense. Like if any of you watched the game, I saw 30 minutes of it. Like Mickey van der Ven's pace, man.
You and Mickey van der Ven, every fucking podcast. Mickey van der Ven.
But he's
get that Spurs jersey on you, will you?
I may as well. But like the pace of him, it's the first time I actually seen it this season.
I actually seen it, yeah. I was like, what the hell? Even the commentators were like, oh yeah. It's like,
exactly.
They were like, holy hell,
Like I knew he was fast, and like we seen it glimpses, but there was the 30 minutes that I saw. I think it was the first 30 minutes of the second half. Like Jesus Christ, the pace in him was unreal. It was unreal. Yeah. And I have to say as well, moving Son into the middle, like you had Richarlison for the first 30 minutes, or for 3 games rather, Son didn't score. Since Son has moved up to the front, he's got 9 goals this season. And with Brennan Johnson coming back now, poor Richarlison won't be seen again for another.
He'd be gone, he'd be thrown to the curb. He's just ass anyways.
Exactly.
January, will he? Do you think there's any chance of him going to January?
I'd say so.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say go abroad. I think he'd be done in the Premier League.
With Chelsea, Chelsea wouldn't surprise you. I think.
Or maybe to Brentford to replace Tony. Maybe a Tony goes.
Tony goes to where? Spurs.
I don't know. Because Spurs would probably want to recoup a lot of the money they spent on him. Mm-hmm. Well, you'd only get that from abroad, really. Yeah, maybe.
Who'd be stupid enough to buy him? Like, cause he's ass. Like
someone in Italy probably. The Italian teams always like those kind of players.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like London Lukaku shot in the Premier League and he cleaned up in. Syria for the first season anyways. All right then, up next to the Emirates, Arsenal running out 5-0 winners over Sheffield United. Just probably one of the most, even though there was 5 goals, it was a very boring game. Arsenal were just completely dominant. Sheffield United just look absolutely down and out.
Oh man, it was crazy. Done. Like I don't even think Arsenal got out of second gear, did they really?
Oh no, absolutely not.
It was like it was, I have to say, like we all said that Luton would be the worst team in the Premier League, and so far it's looking like Sheffield United are going to be, because everything.
9 games.
It's crazy. It's
29
so
goals scored, like
weapons as well.
And we're saying about United not having any identity. There's less for Sheffield United. You know what I mean? And like, look, I don't understand they were never expected to be in the upper echelons of the table, but like they're surely due to fight some bit better. Like. In fairness to him, first game after Jesus' injury, hat-trick, first hat-trick for Arsenal. First goal.
Phenomenal goal,
yeah. The first goal was a brilliant touch to get him away from the defender. Point blank and goal. Then the second goal was a Porter's goal. Came down, he's in the right end of the box, right. Took it the other side of the defense and the keeper in the box. And then the third goal was just a rocket, top corner, brilliant goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there actually is nothing more to this. Because you can't really be in praise Arsenal in this game because
it was just one of those games.
They weren't fantastic. Just Sheffield United were just shy. So there was
absolutely shy.
The pass, and even it was just like give credit to Arsenal. They won 5-0. At the end of the day, you had to be who's in front of you. But it wasn't that great of a game to really enjoy in terms of you think about 5-0, you're like, oh yeah, fucking that was some game. That wasn't that great of a game.
No, it was. Rob, we touched a bit on Paul Heckingbottom through the first few episodes. Does he need to go?
Yeah, before it gets too late for Sheffield.
I mean, they're already. I think they're 5 points behind Bournemouth, who are 17th, and then after that, it's 9 points away from Nottingham Forest, who are 16th. So. I don't know where these points are going to come from. I don't know how they're going to recoup these points. Like I said, it might be too late. I think it's already too late.
Yeah, you've got a quarter of the season done already, and they've 1 point, which is poor. Like, so, judging by that, they'll finish the season with 4 points. It's a weird one. Who do like a new manager bounce can only go so far, because. Like they're so bad. They're so bad.
If they come in, let's say for the international break coming up in a couple of weeks, did you get them out before then? Get someone else in before, and then hopefully give them 2 weeks.
I think Chris Wilder's linked, isn't he?
Is he? I think so. Okay.
Yeah,
but, so I'd say there's no point waiting too late.
He's not a manager either.
Solskjaer to bring him in.
Oh, sure. All right, on to the Molyneux. Cracking game this was. Wolves 2, Newcastle 2. Johnny, I'll start with you firstly. Newcastle looked a bit tired in this game. They didn't really seem to get out of second gear. And that's all credit to Wolves.
Yeah, well, it's one of those games where it's going to be tough for them anyway. Wolves are flying form. The Champions League's just catching up on Newcastle a small bit. And it's tough too. And it was going to happen, and maybe it is early in the season for it to be happening. But then, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, or whatever, when you're playing the 3 games a week, it's tough, and they're not used to that. I don't know if they've.
And they don't have a huge squad either. Do you know what I mean? Like now with Jacob Murphy and Isak injured,
Botman as well.
Botman as well, yeah. Like they don't have a massive squad. Like Lascelles, in fairness to him, has come in. He's played pretty well.
Yes,
but other than that, who do you have? Matt Ritchie? Like who the fuck is he? Oh, championship player.
Yeah, so I think they do, but there's no shame in the draw there in that game either.
Oh, definitely. City went there and lost. Villa went there and drew. Yeah,
exactly. And not many teams will go there and do well this season. I don't think. I think the 4 Wolves they're doing really, really well.
Yeah,
so it's one of those
doing very well.
So you're coming out midweek, take the point, and you move on to the next one. I think it was a big week. They played Dortmund in the Champions League. They were lucky there, and it was one of those things. Whereas I think where they get caught is the emotional dump, because St James's Park is just the atmosphere is crazy.
Yeah.
So the emotion is probably so high, and then to kind of dip down again. We're just going away to Wolves now. There's a big dip from playing Champions League to that, and I think.
Well, they have to pick it up now because they have United coming up in the Cup tomorrow on Wednesday, and then they have Arsenal at St James's Park on Saturday. So they have to pick it up.
To get up for though. Saturday it'll be the St James's Park. Will be firing again.
Yeah.
Our Newcastle home against United tomorrow.
No, they're away. United only get home draws in the cups.
Oh, that's right.
Touching on Wolves. Wolves looked very, very good up until Neto got injured. I thought they were probably going to win that game, and then he pulled up with the hamstring. Yeah. And they kind of just lost that direct. Like Wang moved out to the wing. Kaladzic moved up front. Like he's like 6'7" monster, but he didn't really get involved. Yeah, which is unfortunate for them because Neto has just been in phenomenal form.
Yeah, I hope that injury isn't too serious because his
a few weeks anyway, like hamstrings in a few weeks.
Yeah, the delivery, the corner that he delivered for the first goal was pinpoint accuracy. I want, just before I go on more about Wolves, what's everyone's opinion about the Newcastle penalty?
Newcastle penalty. Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, I think it was incredibly harsh.
Yeah, I think so too.
He
tried to
did
look for-
take, in fairness, Hwang took a touch extra that he didn't need to take, and then he lost the ball, and then he swung. If he'd swung before he took the touch, grand, ball's gone.
But
No
I
incident.
I was only asking the basis that I only saw one angle and I can't tell if he hit him or not. I don't know if
Well, there you go. I couldn't see it either. I couldn't see it either.
So that's what I was curious about because he swipes his leg, but I can't see connection. And the angle I saw, I tried.
It almost like he pulls out and kicks the dirt.
Yeah, but so it's I feel for especially for Hwang, I suppose he made up for it. He got the goal, the brilliant goal, the way to turn away from the defender and then
the way he did with the inside foot as well, just phenomenal. Dan Brown was on the ground.
Absolute sent for chips. But look, Wolves are Gary Neal, we all like Gary Neal, which is well deserved. He's a brilliant manager. He's going to have a fantastic career. He will manage one of the top clubs. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Newcastle, they ran out of ideas as well. I think I found the second half they did, but look, Wolves, a lot of us, I had them down 17th or 16th, some of them, but they're doing really good, and they've good. Their play style is really impressive too. They really do work well as a unit. They have this sort of V kind of the way they have their players running a V when they're pressing. If you I noticed Gary O'Neill speak about against the game against Bournemouth, but I watched out for the game against Newcastle where it kind of works like I don't know what way they work, but it is kind of like a V the way they press, and it's very impressive how in sync they are, and it seems to work for them too. Yeah. So look, Wolves, I think I don't think they'll be top half of the table, but they'll be in and around the middle for sure.
Yeah, their home form will be important for sure. Moving on, then we're going to go to Villa Park. Aston Villa running out 3-1 winners to Luton Town. Rob, Aston Villa's impressive home form continues. We kind of thought it would be 5, 6, even 7, someone said. But, fairness to Luton, they kind of didn't give up, really. They kept battling away. They kind of got a goal very fortunately. But, to keep battling, they'll take a little bit of confidence in the fact that they, never gave up.
Yeah, well, their keeper made 2 brilliant saves in the first half anyways. Had they got in, they could have opened the floodgates. So there's that. Watkins missed a couple of those chances as well. Some decent goals, but an awful own goal for Villa to concede as well.
Yeah, of course, it's a calamity. Tom Lockyer's own goal was ridiculous as well.
Oh yeah. There's no need to that.
He's an absolute. I don't know how he's the Premier League footballer now, to be honest with you. But keeping with Villa now, they won away to AZ Alkmaar in the Conference League. That's something that they're going to be targeting in that Conference League now. They can go on and win that. They have the right man in charge for European competition in Emery. He's doing fantastically well, I think, and pushing for Champions League as well. They're only 2 points behind Arsenal and City.
He's 4 European Cups, doesn't he, Emery? Doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think definitely 3. I don't know if it's 4. Definitely 3, anyways.
I think 3 with Sevilla and 1 with Villarreal.
I think you're right. You're right. But United, didn't it?
So he's the right man for it.
Another thing about Villa, though, they've had serious fixtures so far this season. They've only played Newcastle as a big team. When are they playing all the actual big boys?
Coming up pretty soon. I think Arsenal, City and Arsenal go there. Not in
they'll have to all
3 weeks. I think after the international break. Sorry,
now until Christmas, to really play everyone else, or now till New Year. But they've had. They are doing very well in the league. They've had a very good start in the league, but they've had the easiest fucking fixtures, though.
Yeah, confidence is up. A lot of teams will be looking at Villa Park as a fixture. Again, they don't want to play. They don't want to go to Villa Park now. A lot of teams, they'll be like, they've won 12 games in a row there now. They'll be confident. Of course, they're going to be confident.
Yeah, but still, they've had the rub of the green, which isn't their fault. It's not their fault at all. They've had the easier running, probably the easiest running of all the top 8.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, you can only be whoever's in front of you, right?
Yeah.
All right. Quickly on Luton, Oisín, give it to you. Like you said previously about Sheffield United, we thought Luton would be the worst team, but they're showing a bit of fight.
Yeah, lately they have, haven't they? They're getting the goal as well. Look,
it was a lot. It was just
a clamorous goal. Yeah, very clamorous goal. The header back to it was nearly, if it wasn't going to be an Emi Martinez goal, it's nearly going to be an own goal by Konsa. So, but look, they're not staying up. There's no point even suggesting that they can, they won't. But they are showing a bit of dogged fight, more so than the other two that got promoted, more than Burnley, and certainly more than Sheffield United. But did anyone expect Luton to go away with any point or any win?
People
No,
go on
not
and
at all.
get score.
But exactly. So look. The Luton just had to keep on plugging away. Grind out some, like they're about to come up against Brighton and Sheffield United very soon. So there's a few points on the board there for them. But there's not, like, look, we said it before. They're playing to go down to come back up again. That's all it is, really. So they just need to keep on picking away, doing the things that they can do well, what they think that they can do well. And look, once they don't get, in their own mind, they just have to make sure they're not an embarrassment. And so far, they're doing okay.
They're doing pretty well, yeah. Speaking of embarrassment, we'll go to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea losing to Brentford 2-0. Johnny, we'll go with you. Chelsea actually played well for a lot of the first half. They played very well. The same against Arsenal last week. Week before, sorry. They played pretty well in the first half, and then they kind of just fell away. Kind of Brentford just, stuck to their game plan for the first half. I'll say, didn't let Chelsea. I think Cucurella had a really good chance. Hit straight at the keeper. But other than that, Chelsea didn't really create too much, and then Brentford kind of second half they got going and started playing the football that we kind of expect of Brentford, and came out worthy winners.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, geez, if Chelsea had anyone could score a goal, no more than ourselves. If they had a goal scored, they'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking at it, but then Brentford, our team, can turn over anyone.
On their day they could.
They're an absolute nightmare of a team because they'll turn over anyone. They can turn up and do that. Like, I don't think anyone was massively surprised that they beat Chelsea. I don't know. Like, I think we all predicted Chelsea to win, but going off recent form, I don't think we were massively surprised. Brentford could do that to anyone. They're a fantastic team, fantastic, well run, and Thomas Frank has done a serious job there, considering their main man.
Yeah.
Chelsea, they're like, what do you do with them?
Yeah,
they're
so hot and cold.
To be missing so many, like we say, we say other teams in United, so they spent $1 billion in 10 years. Chelsea have done it in 2 years. And to still be lacking, to still be missing. If you spend $1 billion, not really have a centre back, not really have who's your tackler, who's your striker, who do you have? And to be that much in, so like they will go and buy them in January. I could see them going in spend another
200 million. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course they will. Yeah. The problem is who's going to be the man to spend it? Will it be Poch? I think Poch is a great manager. How much credit in the bank does he have with these guys? None at all. Yeah. So it's one of those things. They don't really owe him anything. Will they stick or twist? I think he probably deserves a chance. It's not his mess he inherited. Especially when you've been thrown all these players. But the clock is ticking there at Chelsea. And,
definitely.
They've had disasters run of fixtures between now and Christmas. An absolute disastrous one.
Yeah. Rob, touching on those run of games, like they have City coming. They did well against Arsenal predominantly, but they have City, they have Spurs, they have Brighton, there's so many. They've United coming up as well. Like, it doesn't seem like they're going to get many points from this next few run of games.
No, but it's just such a Chelsea thing to do, and they'll get a couple of results out of it. Like, realistically, they shouldn't. But like with United, you don't know what you're going to get when you watch United play or watch United again. Every game we've won this season, we've looked bad and we should have lost anyways. We're yet to win a good game of football this season. But Brighton, they're kamikaze football. They could score 3 or concede 3 or do both in the same game. You never know what's going to happen. City should just go in and get the job done. It could be 2-0, it could be 6-0. So yeah, Spurs then, that'll be a tightly contested one. Plenty of cards.
Could see the big
Spurs going in. Spurs going in is the stronger, but yeah, you could definitely see it happen, like a 5 at the back and just counter them or something. But again, as easy as saying that, Chelsea can go and lose all games 5-0, apart from United to draw 1-1.
This is what they have the next 5 games coming up. They have Tottenham away, City at home, Newcastle away, Brighton at home, United away. 5 games on the trot you don't need, like.
No.
Really.
Like you can see, just because Brighton are in the form they're in, I think they might get something out of that game, but I think United probably might have too much for them. But I don't know. I just think Chelsea now have just it's like one step forward, two steps back for them. Like Poch put together a nice little run. They won like 3 games, draw against Arsenal. They're like, all right, maybe a bit of time. He's kind of building something. International break came and kind of, maybe then to the kind of like did they stop that momentum a little bit?
Came at the wrong time for them, did they?
Maybe came at the wrong time. Yeah.
I suppose we have to point out as well, like in that game, like Chelsea, like Madueke had a shot that hit the crossbar just before the Cucurella chance that you alluded to. Cucurella definitely should have squared it off to Madueke. There's a penalty claim as well on Cole Palmer, I believe. I actually missed that bit, but that could have changed the escape of the game. That was before Brighton went on a lip with the Pinnock goal. And even at that as well, Sanchez, like, I don't know, like, did then you see the second goal for Brighton? Like, Sanchez absolutely made a hands that going up to
shocking.
But like, the thing is, like, even the commentators were saying about Sanchez, but like, you have to go for it. Like, these things happen. We've seen it at Arsenal against Aston Villa last season. Martinez came up looking for a goal. We went down straight away and scored. But like, it kind of, I'm glad you brought that up, because looking back today, like, Sanchez was the only one busting his bollocks to get back. Like, I think it's Raheem Sterling who has so much pace. He was jogging back, and whoever was to the left, I can't remember who was to the left of it. Could have been
Matson.
Was it Matson? Yeah. But like, they were jogging, and Sanchez, in fairness, was the only one busting his bollocks to get back. But
to counteract that, see how long it took Sanchez to react to go back.
Oh yeah, but you can say all the Chelsea players.
I know, but way too long for, like, as a keeper. Whoever it is, you are right. Like, they all should have made an effort, but it took Sanchez way too long to realise the ball. He wasn't going to get. It was going over his head to a Brighton defender before he realised. Then, oh shit, I need to get back. So there's a bit of that in it too. But and saying that too, who's the defender that nearly got the ball off? Who was the one who squared it? It was hardly Norsgaard, was it not? Whoever squared it off just in Bowen at the right time. That wasn't Sanchez.
Neil Maupay, wasn't it?
Yeah, but who? It wasn't Sanchez that nearly got back. Oh, it was. Sorry, yeah. He did it. He nearly got back. Like, he nearly got back.
Maupay nearly fucked it. Yeah. But so, I'm here. I love this Chelsea embarrassment. I love it. Live for it.
They'll happen a few more times this season.
Oh yeah, sure. Definitely. All right, quickly on to moving on to Anfield. Then Liverpool ringing out 3-0 winners at home to Nottingham Forest. Another kind of run-of-the-mill performance for Liverpool. They didn't look overly fantastic. I think maybe 3-0 flattered them a little bit, but they've only lost 1 in 14 games this season. Now, this isn't going back to last season. Just this season in all competitions, they've only lost 1 out of 14, and you could say they didn't deserve to lose against Spurs. But we touched on it last week. They're quietly just keeping pace with everybody else, not making too much noise there. Rob, go with you. Dominic Szoboszlai, he played a fantastic game. He's been probably one of their players of the season so far. Just he's not getting many goals or assists, but the work he's doing is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's put in a shift in that midfield, right? Kind of almost a lack in midfield. Like, McAllister has done very little.
McAllister has kind of regressed a little bit with Liverpool. He's not the same player as he was at Brighton last season, but
then you could say the same.
Deep, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very, very deep.
Very deep, I think, for them, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe too deep. Yeah,
it's a different team. Like, sure, you could say this obviously the same as I said it from Brighton as well to Chelsea. Like, sure, it's once you come from a team that's such a perfect build-up and you leave. Happened with Leicester a few years ago when their players left. Like, even Monaco a few years ago, when their players left, they all just fucking turned to shit because you were one cohesive unit. You all had one game plan together, whereas now it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yes, it's well, whatever you call him. Decent player. Yeah.
His second assist, the one to Salah, was just an absolute nightmare from Matt Turner and whoever the defender was at the time. Just neither of them called it. The ball bounced, and then Salah just has an easy tap in. But he still gets the assist.
But in fairness, Turner had made some good saves in that game. You have to give him credit as well.
He's not as bad as a keeper as that's maybe, there's a reason Arsenal got him, but there's also a reason he didn't rise to. Yeah, he didn't last very long. I think he's a good shot stopper, but he is prone to making very silly mistakes. Can
I point out as well that Nunez's goal I'd say was about a foot and a half away from going over the bar when he was that close. And then you notice that hit the roof of the net so close to the crossbar.
But it came at him so fast.
I know,
but he did well to actually get his foot on it.
But could you imagine if he missed that?
Across.
Jesus. After
he's prone to missing quite a few.
He is, yeah. But look, what can you do?
Moving on then, a bit of a shock result. West Ham 0, Everton 1. Johnny, you touched last week, Everton away to Liverpool, that was like their best performance of the season under Sean Dyche. Their away form hasn't been too bad at all this season. They lost to Villa Park, which understandably, Villa in the form they are. They played very well against Liverpool, but ultimately lost. 2-0 was probably fair enough, we'll say. But this was another one of those performances where they played very well. West Ham were very wasteful, don't get me wrong, but another good performance for Sean Dyche's men.
Massive win. Huge win. It's all about how they follow it up now next week, but a massive win for them. And we sometimes do see it. The teams travel better. It could be a thing that maybe playing at Goodison, there's too much pressure on them at the moment. Another club with a lot of toxicity around it. And then there's a huge game for them, of course, after losing Bill Kenwright as well. Massive, emotionally charged game for them. Massive win for them. That's a huge win. None of us really here thought they were going to get it, or even get a point, really.
Yeah, I don't think
many people would have thought it. So, massive, massive win. On the back of a couple of decent performances as well. To go away to West Ham and win is massive, massive results. It's a huge win for them. They need to...
Calvert-Lewin had a very, very good game. He got his goal. He's having a quiet season. If he stays injury-free, he has three this season. I think he has 4 all competitions or 5 all competitions. So, if he stays fit... He can be, he can be good for Everton. Yeah.
Definitely can be. And look, it's just what's next week now, because they did this before and then they got beat. So it's all about the next game now. For a massive win, it's a very emotional week, I'm sure, for the club. Just follow this on with a win, and next thing you know, once that ball gets rolling, because they have put this is probably the first time this season they put together back-to-back good performances. Even
off the back of being sanctioned.
Lost in the Merseyside.
So they can start having a bit of confidence going forward. Yeah. Rob, 1 win in 6 Premier League games to West Ham. I thought this is a game that West Ham need to win to kind of stop the bleeding. And they were just so wasteful. So wasteful on goal.
Yeah, we were praising them not too long. Well, obviously 6-7 games ago. Whereas now they're like digging themselves a hole in games that they should be winning.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a problem there. It's not a problem at the moment because that's such a good start. But it can very quickly turn into a bit of a dogfight.
Snowballing,
between 14, 15, 16 places. It's Sima Palace. If you said a few weeks ago that they'd be in the same place, kind of not in relegation zone, but hovering above it, you'd be thinking, Jesus, no way, like they're in too good a form. Like, and that's without actually losing anyone to injury.
Yeah.
They've just started losing games, like just leaking goals.
Like you touched on, like their first 3 games, they had 7 points from the first 3 games. Their next 7 games, they have 7 points.
There you go. It's
is that maybe Europa League catching up on them, or
probably a bit of that? Yeah. It's a tough one for them because they don't have a huge squad, anyways. And they do play with a good bit of passion, especially at home. Like, so they do go all out.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't really favour them when they're playing Thursday and Saturday and doing a repeat. Considering we did it last year for every game week after January or in January, we played every midweek.
Double weeks,
so it's
every 3 games.
Definitely is not easy. Said too when they went so far in the competition and winning the obviously Conference League last season. Like they played most of last season, like United, of Thursday, Sunday, or whatever. That does take it out of you for a team that's not used to it. So maybe they are tired coming into this season, and it's already starting to catch up with them.
Yeah,
like we have seen it before.
But fair play to Everton as well, though.
Take nothing away from Everton. They're very, very good.
But as John said, how can they follow up? Because last time they bet Brentford 3-1 away, and then it went and lost to Luton at home. Like so, how can they follow up just with a positive result? Like, huge 6 points then.
Moving on then to the Amex, Brighton 1-1 with Fulham. I should go with you. Brighton, again, we've seen living and dying by this, playing out from the back. They made another mistake, balls in the back of the net. Great finish by Paulinho, don't take anything away from it. But they are just adamant that's how they want to play ball. And teams last season couldn't handle it. this season teams have just figured it out like that.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and I think like we were all singing their praises at the start of the season that we do well, but this is probably why we're not in the professional game, because exactly as you said,
What the fuck do we know?
Clubs have definitely caught on to that.
But they're the first team in the Premier League to score and concede in the first 10 games.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a mad stat. But to touch on Pelino though, he shouldn't have been on the pitch. The elbow on Gross, was it? I think
it was Gross. Yeah,
like he fucking meant that. I don't give a shit what anyone says. He meant it, and he caught him, so he was lucky himself to be on the pitch. But Evan Ferguson was a great goal.
Fantastic finish,
But Paulina's goal was superb as well. I think Brighton showed glimpses of why they are where they are, but also, as you say, defensively or playing out the back, it seems too obvious now. Their style of play, where the defenders will hold the ball off until the attacker comes to touch the point and then they release the ball, isn't working. It hasn't worked the last few games now. That's what they pride themselves on last season. That's where they got where they were. And so they're still playing that ball, but they're actually getting caught out now, as you say. So they might need to look at that now, especially after the next international break, because particularly in the last 3 games, every team, the last few teams that have come up against them have caught on to that and either haven't approached them in the same manner as maybe last season, or they've done it in a different style, as in getting a player to go to the opposite foot of the defending, the Brighter's defender, where he has to kick it off his weaker foot and then ends up losing the ball. So that's clever tactic in itself. Lewis Dunk hit the post of a free kick. I didn't know that man takes a free kick.
Yeah, it was a good free kick. I think it was Webster as well, had the ball cleared off the line. Anthony Robinson cleared off the line like the 81st minute or something like that.
So they are close. But look,
Fulham had chances too now to win it.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think probably both teams take a draw happy enough. I think Fulham obviously be the happier of the two to go to Brighton, which is a tough place to go and get a point. They'll be happy with that. All right, on to the last game of the game week then. Bournemouth running out 2-1 winners at home to Burnley. This is a game either team needed to win, and Rob, Bournemouth probably deserved to win it.
Yeah, 3 fantastic goals as well in it. The first goal, like Burnley's goal, fucking hit that on the volley, like half volley like that, just went straight in like a rocket. Yeah. And the Bournemouth goals, especially Slanky's goal, like what is the fucking keeper doing? Like I don't know why keepers run backwards like that. If it was me, I'd sprint first, and then once I get to a certain point, I'd turn around or something, because like he's running backwards so slowly. Yeah. And then they only start running once the ball is kicked. They start running. It's like just run first, just sprint first, and let the fucking crowd tell you where it's going. It was a big win for Bournemouth. Delighted because I hate Burnley. Burnley can just go straight back down and rot, and they're still trying to play their shit fucking brand of football. It's just not cut out. They don't have the players to play that type of football in the Premier League, but they're not changing in any way.
I think Company could be in big trouble in the next couple of weeks. If you can't get any points between now and the international break, he could be another one that could be out. They're very lucky that Sheffield have been so bad, because they have been Sheffield equally as poor. That's dead right, because Sheffield have just taken the light off them a little bit. But I think they've only conceded 4 goals less than Sheffield, and obviously Sheffield had that 8-0. Yeah, 4 goals less. Yeah. Sheffield had that 8-0. Fair enough. Burnley are just in the absolute mud. I think them, Sheffield, Luton, Burnley, and Bournemouth that's going to be the race. I think Forest will probably be okay and get out of it. There is a 5-point gap between Forest and Bournemouth. I think Forest will probably keep tagging along as they have been. But I think that's the 4. That's the race that after the first 9 games.
In 6 game weeks time, Chelsea will win that puddle again.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it depends if the other 4 teams are doing fucking as shy as they are. On Saturday, the early kickoff, Manchester United away to Fulham. Rob, start with you for this game.
2-1 Man United.
Oisin?
No confidence after the last game. 1-1.
1 Johnny?
2-1 United.
2-1. I agree with Oisin. I'd say it's probably going to be a draw. Probably 2-2, I think. I think both defenses are pretty poor. Then pretty decent game up next. Brentford at home to West Ham. Rob?
That is a decent game. I go 2-1 Brentford. The misery continues for West Ham.
Oisin?
I think it'll be 3-1 Brentford.
Johnny?
2-0 Brentford.
Yeah, I agree. I think Brentford win. I think probably West Ham going to go. I said 2-1 Brentford. And then another tough game for Burnley. They'll be at home to Crystal Palace. Rob?
What do you know? What injuries are back for Palace?
I don't know who's back. To be honest,
I'd say 2-0 Palace. Anyways,
2-0 Palace. Oshin?
1-0 Palace.
Johnny?
Yeah, I go 1-0 Palace.
Yeah, I think probably a dirty 1-0 Palace.
A
I agree
disgusting
with that.
game. Won't be a nice game.
Yeah.
Then we're going to be at Goodison Park. Everton at home to Brighton. Rob?
that's a good one. 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. Oshin?
I think Everton will actually sneak a win here. I think they have enough in them. I will say that's a 2-0 Everton for the crack.
2-0 Everton, all right. Johnny?
3-0 Brighton.
3-0 Brighton, all right. I think Everton probably sneak a goal. I think probably 2-1 Brighton. Brighton might have too much for Everton. And then pretty easy fixture for Man City on paper. They are at home to Bournemouth. Rob?
5-0 City.
Bushy?
Yeah, 5-0 City, I think, yeah.
And Johnny?
Yeah, 4-0 City, be different.
I think I'm going to go. Probably, you know what? I'm going to go 6-0. I'm going to go 6-0. You know. Just in the hope that it's a 1-0 Bournemouth. Next up, then, will be Sheffield United at home to Wolves. They definitely need to get something out of this game. Rob?
It depends on Neto. If Neto's out, then I can see it being 1-1. But with Neto, we'll go 2-1 Wolves.
2-1 Wolves. Oshin?
Yeah, I'd say 1-0 Wolves. It won't be a high scoring game.
Actually, can I say 2-0 Wolves instead? No, I want to keep the clean sheet.
No, I can't. Don't let me wear that.
Get fuck off.
You fucking started saying 4 or 5 predictions last time.
Yeah, and you got one of them right, and everyone praised them.
Yeah.
Everyone
For the way
wants to count how many predictions Rob puts in.
I know, yeah.
Right, Johnny?
Here all fucking day. 1-0 Wolves. 2-0 Wolves.
Jesus Christ. I'd probably say 2. I'd probably say, do you know what? 3-0 Wolves. I can't see Sheffield United scoring any goals. And then St James's Park then for a very good game. Newcastle home to Arsenal. Rob?
1-1.
Was she?
See, it depends on what team Newcastle are putting out tomorrow night, because they've fairly rampant with a few injuries too. So I think Arsenal will win. I think it'll be 2-1, I'd say.
Johnny?
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, we're away to West Ham in the Cup tomorrow, so we were able to rest Odegaard and Gabriel there at the weekend. It probably could have rested a few more, but
at the moment, Newcastle have rougher injuries than you, I think.
Yeah, I think so
too. Yeah, I think Arsenal probably 2-0 Arsenal. I think we'll keep the clean sheet going.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Sunday then. Nottingham Forest going to be at home to Aston Villa. Rob?
2-1 Villa.
Rashid?
2-0 Villa.
No, and Johnny?
1-1.
I'm going to say probably 3-1 Villa on this game. I think they'll just have too much. I think Nottingham Forest are just in a moment in time where they can't really seem to get any results. All right, then to Kenilworth Road. Luton at home to Liverpool. Rob?
That's a good one. I want to say 4-0 Liverpool.
Rashid?
3-0 Liverpool.
Johnny?
4-1 Liverpool.
4-1, yeah. I'll go 4-1 as well. I think Luton will probably sneak a goal somehow. They always seem to. And then moving on into Monday's action, Tottenham at home to Chelsea. Rob?
2-0 Spurs.
Machine?
2-0 Spurs.
Johnny?
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. Oh.
I think this fixture, strange things happen. I think this fixture will tell us a lot about Spurs. It's not Chelsea are playing. True. It's everything that goes with it for this game. This is a very different game. like the derbies. And this is
fair enough.
this is massive. No?
Good way of looking at it.
If Chelsea turn up, I can see a draw. I don't think Spurs will lose, so I'll probably go 2-2 in this game, I think. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Horny Football Podcast. I want to thank all the lads for all their input tonight and their predictions. If you do agree with us, let us know down in the comments. Let us know your predictions for this upcoming game week. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We'll see you all again next week. And don't forget, stay horny.